Hey free-to-play gang, welcome back to another video. This is going to be something completely different. I've never done this before. So lately I've been putting in a lot more emphasis on holo battles and I have been discovering a lot of defense weaknesses and all that kind of fun stuff. And you guys seem to like it a lot as well. So I'm just going to push content for this a little bit further. So I'm going to review all the defenses in my club and just point out some of the mistakes or rather some of the ways that they can improve on their defense, because my club used to be a top 3 club but now we are top 10, so there is a definite need for some revamp over here. Now I need to start off by saying that I am by no means an expert, so if I say something that you completely disagree with, feel free to disagree, okay? Because sometimes I just do not know what I'm talking about, and I'm just going by my own experience. So I'm sorry if I hurt anyone's feelings over here, but this is the point of the video. We want to learn from our mistakes as well. So of course I have to review my own defense, and this is currently what I'm set up with. Now, as you can see just broadly, right, what you notice is that most of the experts here are wind type. And the reason for that is that wind types are generally the most meta typing right now, in general, right, followed by Inferno and then finally Flow. I feel like Flow type right now is kind of like the weakest typing. Obviously some of you guys will be saying, oh, but Gaius is OP. Yeah. Gaius is the reason why wind types are so strong right now. So the reason why my defenses are heavily focused on wind is obviously because of Gaius. So if someone were to attack my defense right now, they would probably not bring a Gaius, because if they bring a Gaius to my first team here, they will need to gamble killing my Abigail in one hit. But if they do not kill my Abigail in one hit, my Abigail is just going to revive my Ophelia and Ophelia is just going to kill their Gaius, so on and so forth. You kind of get the idea. And for the team on the right, this is going to be a little bit easier to counter, so if they just bring experts like Lewis, I'm kind of screwed. But honestly, at this current juncture, who has strong Inferno type espers, I don't think many people would have them. So Liling has been severely nerfed, and the only esper right now that is Inferno that does a tremendous amount of damage is probably going to be Lewis. Apart from Lewis, maybe Drew. But Drew is not going to work here at all because height is a strong counter against Drew. So this is my defense right now. Obviously there are weaknesses. I'm not going to go through too much of my weaknesses, but let's move on with the rest of the defenses here. So first we have Scato. Now there is a huge problem with the defense on the left. So I've talked about this in so many different videos. Gaius is not a good defensive esper, because for this team here, in order for you to counter this team, just bring shield relics, right? As long as you start off with Adamantine, their Gaius, even if they start first, he's going to start off with his second skill, which practically does nothing, and then afterwards you're kind of screwed. So this team on the left doesn't really work all the time. Now for the team on the right, this might not work out so well because you're running a debuffing team, but at the same time you're not running a speed lead, which means you're going to be slow. So assuming you start second, this team is very easy to counter. It's extremely counterable if the enemy brings a Gaius and then this comp is just going to melt instantly. And if the enemy brings immunity as well, you have no way of countering that. So one way that you can improve your second formation here is probably just to bring a speed lead and make sure that your Clara has an insane amount of speed and push the AP of Anesidora so that she can throw her third skill at the start. But then again, having that speed lead is not going to be enough because there is not enough DPS here at all. Now next, Krawecki, please do not let me down, bro. Okay, team on the left, this looks okay. Enough heal to sustain height until the end game. And for the team on the right, this is really good. So this is something that I used to use, or rather I do not have Unas, but I use something similar to this. Ophelia is a really good choice because Ophelia is most likely going to take out one of their espers on the other side, and as long as you take someone out 3v2, there is a really good chance of you winning, especially since you have freezers here, you have defense break, a lot of stuff here. So his setup is pretty good, although I don't think that Clara is that essential. You could definitely replace Clara with something else and I think it should be fine. It's a little bit overdosed on healing at this point. Now next, Captain RP. He's one of the better players in my club right now. Okay, there might be a problem here because there isn't an AP up on your team. I know you're using AP reduction on the Lucas, but Unas might not be enough to push a Sender unless your Sender has like what, 250 speed. I don't think your Sender would have that much speed. If not, he's going to lack a lot in crit damage and attack. But it's hard to say because I do feel like this team is also quite conclusive. You can land stuns through the Zeus Relic set on your Lucas, and you can also land a lot of AP reduction. This might work, just that it's not going to be so consistent. But I think people will be afraid of the RNG here. Now for the team on the right, this is obviously going to be a really good team. If you have a height, I think height would be a little bit better than Everett, but that's about it. Now next player, Zekrom. Okay, so the team on the left, I don't really like this team because I just need to take out your height. Abigail is going to revive height and there's really nothing much that the height can do. Yes, it is probable that your height can revive and use his third skill to heal himself up, but honestly it's super easy to take out height again, especially when he has so few stacks. So I just need to use Lewis for example, right? Gun him down once, she revives him, sure, I'll just kill him again, that's about it. Because do take note that when Abigail revives height, height would have 0 stacks at the start. Or rather he will have 2 stacks because Abigail grants him the 2 stacks on revive, but it's really not much. As for the team on the right, I don't feel like Cecilia is that strong, especially since this whole setup revolves around reviving and your main DPS is Everett. I feel like you have a good basis, but you can definitely improve on this. So instead of Everett, just run something with more DPS. So for example, Ophelia, I think Ophelia is going to be a really good pick here. So even if they kill your Ophelia, Ollie is going to protect her. Or if they do kill Ollie at the same time, Cecilia is going to revive her anyway. But I still feel like maybe Cecilia is not such a perfect choice here. I think having an attack buffer is probably better. So maybe Ollie, Dahlia, and an offensive DPS unit. Now next, everyone's favorite Tiki. So same issue with the Gaius. I feel like Gaius is just not so good in defense. But I really like his setup here. He has a TA with a buff strip cooldown increaser Bonnie. This is really good. So I think all he needs is just to replace his Gaius here, and that's about it. And as for the team on the right, Clara, Sienna, and okay, so you need a speed lead if you want to run a cleaving comp. So if you want to use Sienna, you will need to start first. If you do not start first, you're screwed, because all I need to do is to just have a faster team, right, with a speed lead, and there is nothing your Sienna can do. Your Sienna is not going to outspeed me. And another way to counter this defense is to just bring full immunity so that Sienna is not able to reduce the AP of the enemy's team. So there is a lot of weakness in his second team. Next, we have Temu here. So same issue with the Gaius comp, and on the team on the right, this is not going to be so good. So the thing about Elliot is that he works the best when run manually. When you run him in an offense team, he's not going to function on a defense team because it's very easy for you to just run an Esper, like let's say Tricky for example. Sure, cooldown reset my Tricky, go ahead and do that. It's not going to matter so much because Tricky will still have his passive taking place and he's going to punish your Jinyu Yao like crazy. Now next we have Rusty. Okay, I'm definitely seeing a trend here. A lot of people are using Gaius as their defense, and that's going to be a big problem. Now the tier on the left, I think this works out pretty well even though he has a Gaius, because Unas doubles as an AP pusher and a speed lead, which is really nice, which is why you can use Ashley here. I just feel like maybe Gaius is probably very easily replaceable. You can definitely use something like Chloe for example. I think Chloe would be a little bit better as well. She would have up to 3 buffs at the start. She would have an immunity, she would have an attack buff, and she would also probably a shield buff if you can manage it. And the team on the right, this is excellent. Although I do feel like having a healer is probably going to be better. A healer like Ahmed for example, because Ahmed complicates the things a lot more here. Most people would need to take out your JJ first and then taking out your height, but at the same time, the Ahmed is just there doing all the healing, and that's why Ahmed is really good for this team. Now next up we have Quetzalcoatl. Okay, Sally. Okay, what? Is this a meme team? Now for the team on the right, I kind of see what you're trying to do here. I don't know how to feel about this team. I think it is not that bad. Yeah, I think it kind of works out to be honest. Next, Prodigy Slayer, the team on the left. This is perfect. So this is a really good setup. And as for the team on the right, I think this is good as well. So you have an AP pusher, you have a speed lead, and you have one single target nuke, which is really good. Next, we have Ace here. So the team on the left, yep, this works out. Isn't it like the same as mine? Yeah, it is the same as mine. But if we did have a JJ, then we would definitely replace our Everett with a JJ. I think that's better. And as for our team on the right, this is just really good. So good job, man. Now, OP Dragunov, the team on the left, same issue. Team on the right, pretty good. Now, Nacho Viking, the leader of Olympus. So Dona has been pushed to like 0 tier right now. I don't feel like he is as strong as he used to. So since he has fallen off the meta, I don't think he is that great. Because this defense on the left is just screaming for an Ophelia nuke. So as long as an enemy just brings Ophelia, this team is probably screwed. And as for our team on the right, it is also very easy to manage. Honestly, any wind type Esper with sufficient healing is just going to do the job. So for example, if I bring a Lewis and I bring a bunch of other healers like Clara, or maybe even Abigail, or Ahmed or whatsoever, right? As long as I have 1 DPS, there is not much that you can do to me, and it's going to be very easy for me to pick you apart. Next, Kuro-chan. Okay, I think I'm going to skip some of the teams that I've already talked about. Okay, Jinelle. Wow. What? Tang Xuan. I don't think Tang Xuan has a one-shot potential, which makes him not a very good pick in a defensive comp. Because when you want to run something like a speed lead with a Dahlia, your third Esper needs to do enough damage to one-shot at least one of the enemies, which is why Gaius and Ophelia are really good picks. But the thing is, Gaius is very easy to be countered, and that's why Ophelia is really strong right now. As for the team on the right, this is kind of similar to whatever that we have seen before. I don't feel like this is going to work out so well. It is similar, but it's not the same. Next, LV. Okay, so there is a big problem here, right? If I kill your height and then I kill your Cecilia is going to revive your height with 1 stack, and height is just going to go down instantly because height is not going to get a shield buff, so he's going to revive with 1 sliver of HP. Don't forget about that. Alright, now Dribble, one of the moderators of Discord. Great comp, dude, his first team is really strong. And as for his second team, I might just want to replace that Dona with an Everett, and I think this team would be a little bit better. Next, Bold Sir Rob. Okay, what? What's even happening here? Okay, the team on the right actually does make a little bit of sense. The speed actually gives JJ a little bit more threatening power. Although I do feel like maybe an Unas is probably the better pick here. Not that everyone has an Unas, but I do feel like Unas with Ahmed and JJ is probably a lot scarier than just simply TA over here. So I think you'd be better off if you move your Unas over to the right side. But for the team on the left, it's kind of missing everything, right? It's missing DPS, it's missing healing, it's missing controls, so I'm not sure what this is all about. And Lucky07, let's take a look at your second team here. Now this is something that you want to avoid as much as you can, which is to run an attack leader. Because right now you do not have the speed advantage, which means this cleaving team does not work at all. Next, Iria Ham, solid first team, and as always this second team can definitely be improved a lot. Donna's output is just so low right now. And I can just counter this by using a full win comp, so even if I use an Ophelia, I don't think a Donna can actually one-shot my Ophelia. Next, Goblin M. Okay, Alice is not necessarily going to be such a great pick here. I know what you're trying to achieve, but I think a Dahlia makes a lot more sense. I can't understand that you want to use Alice here to extend the immunity buff, but honestly, Gaius with immunity buff, it doesn't really change the fact that he's easy to one-shot. And for the team on the right, like I talked about, just bring immunity or maybe even a height team, right? A height is simply going to 1v3 here. Now for Constel, so the first team seems okay, but for the second team, I think it's a little bit easy to manage, isn't it? You just need to bring like maybe a whole bunch of Inferno Espers and their damage output is probably not going to be enough unless your Lucas has a DPS kit. But I don't think your Lucas has a DPS kit, if not that will make him very slow. And in fact, I want to gamble that your Lucas is the fastest Esper on this lineup, so he strips everything and then that's when your Lomian comes in. But then again, I do know that you have an Unas, right? I'm very sure you have an Unas. Yeah, there you go. I remember that you have an Unas who is what, level 50? So I do feel like if you have an Unas, definitely try your best to abuse him, right? Just make a team around him and I think that will work out really well for you. So if you want to play control, what I might suggest is you move that Pritzker over here, just remove the KFC and then put Unas on the left spot and then you will have a very solid team 1. And for the rest of my clubmates, so there are some very common issues, right? So for example, Donna here, Gaius as a defense with no speed lead and no attack buff. I'm so confused, why don't you just use Unas together with Gaius and Adalia? That would make so much more sense. And then finally, Blitzer with, okay, Donna. Oh, and he also used a Laura over here. Okay, but anyway, this is my opinion, but I feel like my club can do with a lot of improvement to the defense. And that should bolster our rankings a little bit and definitely secure some victories, especially when we defend against some of the better clubs out there. But anyway, that will be it for this video. Let me know whether you agree or disagree with some of the things that I've said. Obviously, everything I say comes from my own experience and my own experience only. It may not always be right. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, and if you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, it really helps the channel, and subscribe for more Dislyte content. Now with that said, this has been Derry Free to Play, and as always, I will see you in the next video.